to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Felt like we hadn't gone anywhere. Well, if you had joined us this morning and you heard Mr. Art hosting for the record, and you go, well, that's the Business Buzz because it's a Thursday. You catch him tomorrow morning for the Buzz, and now it's Talk Today, and we get a chance to talk to good friends from the Department of Environment and turtles. No, it's not Nemo, and it's not Crush. It's just even better. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And sometimes even in our history books as question, the recording of it, but there's this sort of whimsical, fantasy that we may have of the writings of Christopher Columbus and, so many turtles and all these things. And then we fast forward to now, and even walking the 7 Mile Beach on a good afternoon or early morning, you can still see the turtles, out in the distance, right? Well, with that in mind, I want to hear more about turtle nesting and what we're doing to impact them, maybe how they're affecting us. Respectfully, perhaps first to you, Dr. Jean, and then Ms. Jerrica. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm Jane Hardwick. I work at the Department of Environment as a Marine Research Officer, and my job involves coordinating all the sea turtle research for the department.
All right.
Yes, thanks again for having us. I am Jerrica Campbell, and I work in the Environmental Management Unit at the Department of Environment, and I'm a Senior Environmental Management Officer, and I also lead the Turtle-Friendly Lighting program within the D.O.E., and I'm part of the Sea Turtle Monitoring.
Well, I want you to help us to understand, because sometimes we may read here or otherwise be introduced to international media. I think, as you mentioned, turtle-friendly lighting. I'm thinking of, the Florida coastline and however long ago it was, I won't say, they started to introduce this as part of their building requirements. And there was some rumblings here as to whether it's that good or not. So maybe you can answer. But Dr. Jane, from that perspective of research and turtle research, what do you do? I mean, do you go there and sit to the turtles and ask them, hey, what was the night like last night? What does that involve?
So there's been long-term monitoring of turtle nest numbers. So since 1998, the Department of Environment have been essentially conducting nest counts across the 3 islands. And though this doesn't give us the exact number of nesting turtles, because each nesting female can lay up to 8 nests each, it does tell us population trends. So we know from nest counts, if the nest counts are increasing, that the number of turtles coming here to nest are increasing. So that's just one aspect of the monitoring and the research that we do. But I'm also working on a UK grant project. So it's a 3-year project funded by Darwin Plus, and that's looking into the impacts of climate change on sea turtles here in the Cayman Islands.
Okay. And when you shared each nest and female can have 8 nests, is that at the same time? Is that different overseas? I mean,
in the same nesting season.
Yeah.
And some female turtles may only lay 1 or 2 nests and then they leave. But we know that some females will return about every 2 weeks and lay again and again and again. So some will just lay 1 or 2, others will lay up to 8. So.
And would she come back to, let's say, this particular spot and she'll do 1 nest there and then come back in a couple of weeks and just next to that nest do another one? Or will she go, you know what, let me spread it around the district. I'll be in East End today, Barkas tomorrow, go across to Spot Bay next. Is that what she would do, or would it be, close to each other?
They're close to each other. So especially for green turtles, they return to very close to the area where they've laid previous nests. And that's also believed to be the nesting beach that they hatched from. So they have this amazing ability to return to that beach after 20 or 30 years of not being, even near the Cayman Islands, because they migrate during that time. But they will come back to the beaches where they hatched from to lay their nests. So.
And that, as you say, could be 2 or 3 decades later.
Yeah.
They'll return. So in that, 2 questions. Maturity. Is it like 30, 40, 50 years, or is it like men, they never mature? I mean, just kidding. How?
It varies. So we know from turtles in captivity, some of them will reach maturity around 20 years. But other research studies have found sometimes they're not returning to their nesting beaches for 30 or 40 years. So really, it's a really broad age, but it's at least 20 years for them to mature and come back and breed and nest.
And you said it is believed that may be the beach today. So in science, like opinions, how confident are we that this beach that she's laying at is the beach, or is it just our supposition and we have a hypothesis? Can we verify that? How accurate do we think we are and confident in that belief?
There's work now with genetics that's showing genetics from mother turtles, genetics from hatching turtles, and some longer term studies now that are able to somewhat prove that is the case. Also, we have some historic records of nesting in the Cayman Islands, so we know that the historic busier nesting beaches, that's still the case. But also, obviously, turtles do have to adapt as well. So, they might return 20 years later and their nesting beach is not there anymore. There's buildings, there's erosion. They're able to adapt and they move.
All right, I got you. Ms. Jerrica, please jump in, but anything you want to share?
Yeah, no, everything that Jane said, as well as the same turtle doesn't nest every year. So it's not this amount of a turtle nest doesn't give us that specific number of nesting turtles. And you have your foraging population of turtles that we see, the younger ones that are out in the water when you're diving and snorkeling that you see, and we have our nesting population. So they're 2 different populations that we're kind of monitoring, but the nesting population is why we take account of the nests.
All right. And, she may nest this year, but that may be a couple of years since she's...
So with the green turtles here especially, we actually tag the nesting females. So we have a night team that work at night. They put a microchip in the turtles, and they also put flipper tags on them with numbers. So they know that each year they record which turtles are nesting on the beach. So they know, for example, certain individuals have been returning every year and other individuals return every 2 to 3 years. And with that data, you can also see that the same females are returning to their same beach areas.
Yeah. Right, provided those beaches are there. We'll talk about that. But from that perspective, any sort of indication as to, well, she didn't come, been 3 years she hasn't come, now she's here. What may have transpired, why she hasn't returned every year, was, any patterns, any belief systems?
So obviously we think a lot of it depends on what's happening at the foraging ground that they will migrate to. And we know from some satellite tracking that they all disperse to different foraging grounds. So a lot of them are along the Central American coastline, but all different countries, basically.
Right.
We think, or research believes that if the foraging grounds are very healthy and there's a good food source and the females can, fatten themselves up and they, then they're ready to return, perhaps that length of time is not so long for when they make the journey back. But if they're struggling to find food during that period, it might take 2 to 3 years before they're healthy enough to come back and lay eggs again. So,
all right, as we go into the microchips, how long do they last? Are they good for life? Do they have a lifespan?
A long time, yeah. So there's some turtles that were microchipped in 2013, and we're still recording. We're still able to scan them and get that. So they shouldn't. It's like what goes into dogs and cats. It should last pretty much the lifetime of the turtle.
But like the ones that goes in dogs and cats, you put it in and you go back the next month for a checkup. For some reason it malfunctions, so that happens as well.
Occasionally, occasionally, and sometimes they migrate, so they can actually move within like the tissue.
Yeah, they mean in the microchips. Okay, the turtles we know more. All right, when we come back, can we sort of do some sort of comparison? We know this year, we know last year, we know how many years back and how it looks, and let's look at the trends in the series analysis, and
Yeah.
And there's going to be a test, okay? I can give you the answer now. The answer is Susan. So listen for the question. Stay tuned. We'll talk today.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Research has shown that worldwide, women have unique barriers to accessing health care. But what's the situation in Cayman? We want to know. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. And as we talk about, the turtle nesting season and the like and its impact by us on them, maybe the benefits of them for us, this shows how we are in this together, literally, right? If I might, to our guests, Dr. Hardwick and Ms. Campbell, thank you, both as not just stalwarts, as strong civil servants who, through you, we see what the civil service is: robust, dynamic, people who have the compassion, the intellect, and the desire to serve the interests of the country. You encourage me just by what you were sharing. I don't need to know this, that, or the next thing other than we have good people. So can I say thanks?
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. The turtle, for instance, for some of us, we have a particular perspective on it. Some of us look at the historical connections. Some of us, perhaps for whatever reason, just see it and say, well, it's just another, thing that exists. Yeah, we should take care of it and whichever. But yeah, it's not really that important, is it? It's not as important as this. Is it more important? Is it as important? Should be something that we should really pay attention to because we don't understand its value, quote unquote?
I think that turtles have a lot of value in different ways, and I'll let my colleague Jane talk about them being a keystone species for certain aspects. But personally, as a Caymanian and as someone who really cares about Cayman, I think a lot of people do. And if you look around to just the logos, like Cayman Airways, we have Sir Turtle, we have CUC with Sparky, like a lot of the hotels, their logos incorporate the turtle. It's been a part of our heritage, our culture, it's who we are, our national dish. All of these things, turtles are a part of what makes Cayman, I think.
Yeah.
But they also play a pivotal role in the environment as well. And do you want to?
Yeah, sure. So what's interesting about turtles is, so there's 7 different species worldwide, and 3 of them are in the Cayman Islands, but they all have kind of a different environmental role in the ocean. So they all have, for example, different diets. Green turtles, as an example, they feed on seagrasses, so they're vegetarians. But what they actually do, they're maintaining seagrass beds. So it's a bit like how a sheep in a field is just trimming the top of the grass. They do that. So they're like the lawnmowers there. They're just trimming off the top and allowing it to be healthy and grow. And lots of other species are able to live in that environment as well. Hawksbills live on the reefs. They're feeding on sponges and also algae on the reef. So they're actually helping reduce algae cover on coral reefs and allowing corals to grow. So they all, each species actually has a different role like that in the environment. And also the hatchlings, last year something like 70,000 hatchlings went to sea from Cayman's beaches. They're a really important prey item, and I know that's sad to hear, but they are. That's a really important food source for a lot of predators in the ocean as well. So they have their role as predator and as a niche there and as a prey item. And
they're a great ecotourism tool as well. So we, as our team goes out every year on the beaches, we speak to thousands of people on the beach. We actually record how many people we spoke to. Do you remember how much it was last year?
We recorded, I think it was more than 2,000 people we'd spoken to on the beaches, but also that was just what we had put into our app, and sometimes we forget to input that. So it was a lot more than that in reality.
But they get so excited, whether it's a school group or it's just people visiting that are on the beach. They ask us questions, they watch us excavate or check the nests, and it's really the highlight of their trip. Some of them come back just to watch the turtles hatching out. And I love showing the young school kids and the Caymanians, the baby turtles, they aren't just in the turtle center, but the wild turtles and watching them hatch out. So many people don't get that opportunity, and I love giving that to them.
Thank you. I mean, and as we take this call, I'm told, we have 70,000 hatchlings. For some people that may seem like a lot, but the survival rate, may astound many. And so, but I want to ask more about it, and those 7 species and the 3 that are here, and how we distinguish between them, because some of us know, some of us don't, and some of us used to know and don't because we don't see them. But can we take this call? Yeah. All right, let's go to the phones. Dr. Jean Hardwick together with Ms. Jessica Campbell from D.O.E. and we're talking about turtles. So welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green.
Hey,
Good
sir.
afternoon to Westine Sanders here.
How are you, sir?
Just fine, thanks. Okay. It would take quite a while for me to try to give you some information I have to discuss it and question. But I won't take up your time with that. Some other time, they can always call me and get some information. It's important. First of all, our research showed, when we're doing the turtle farm, that the turtles don't, and we knew this from feeding them, the turtles eat the roots of the turtle grass. They didn't actually eat the grass itself. We found that over several years, with thousands of the turtles. At that time, we had over 100,000 turtles in Algiers. When you say the historical records, how far back are you talking about? When you say historical records that you have and so forth, going through them.
So how, Dr. Jane, how long do we... Yes, sir.
Because we had thousands of pages of well-documented research done by some of the greatest marine biologists on the planet at the time, Professor Archikar, Dr. Bob Schroeder himself, whose idea was the farm, who created it, along with some businessmen to get the funding. I knew Dr. Bob very well, a wonderful gentleman. And there were hundreds, I'm sure it's thousands of pages of well-documented research was there. That's 50-odd years old, and some of it later than that, a lot of it. And up until probably 1983, when the CITES Convention things were signed, and it more or less ended the business. And I don't know how many of you knew that we had a jewelry factory in Haiti also. We used to send turtle shells there. The turtle farm owned that at the time. It was mariculture, the business was. And we had, because for the same reason, cheap labor is imported here. We send it there to also, besides the big factory I had there at the farm. But turtles in captivity, we proved this, and I know it happened, that females are laying at less than 10 years old in captivity, born in captivity, and they're less than 10 years old. But we know in the wild, as you quite rightly said, it's about 20 years, 18, 20 years before they mature and lay. So there's a lot of good things to be gained by having them in captivity. And as you said, so many die by you releasing so many hundreds of thousands. It shows we're more or less feeding fish for them, and at a very expensive cost to raise them. And of course, there are hundreds of thousands of green sea turtles there. Honduras, they can buy a turtle for $25 in Honduras. You can check now, you don't have to believe me. There are hundreds of thousands of them there. They're not endangered as we would like the world to believe. But there's also work that we know that the turtles use, and the old turtles used to know this, that they're feeding on things on the reef. They call it manna. And the turtles would eat that, a type of, I guess, algae, or whatever you want to call it, growing on the reefs. Remember my old friend Captain Gleason would often talk about that.
Yes, sir.
The manna on the reefs and so forth. And the turtles were so important. Younger people like yourself, ladies, they might not know how really important it was, because it was the turtling that really gave us our seafaring abilities. Second to none. with that, and it was mainly due to going turtling off mosquito coast and so forth, and on Honduras there, and the Keys there, and they can name them all, some of the old turtles, those Keys. And the importance of it in our history can never be, as an economic benefit, can never be overestimated, what we did.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more to it, but I'm just wondering what happened to all that research work that we did and our very successful rate of hatching. Up until a year old, we were like 95% successful then in the 70s.
Right.
95% successful for a year old from birth, hatching them. And we got those eggs from beaches. That's where they came from, beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Brought them here by plane and the same stand they found them in and all that. I just wondered what happened to all those research papers, because there got to be thousands, hundreds, I would say thousands of pages of well-documented and well-done research on the turtles.
Well, let's ask. I mean, he has reference, and it certainly was, from what we gather even today, the research is informing the scientific community. Respectfully, sir, Dr. Jean, before we go to break, do you know about that? Maybe when we come back, is that research that the caller reference is still available, accessible?
Yeah, so certainly there's some scientific research papers from back in the very early beginnings of the turtle farm, and I know some of those are available online, so they've been digitized. There's also references in books.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite, there is quite a wide amount of research out there on that.
Emanating from what we did here in the 70s,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And as we come back from the break, can we ask, maybe answer the caller's point in terms of that historical record that you reference, how far back and how much is this the DOE's own work through some words. Thank you, sir, very much for that. He always gives an informed perspective, and hopefully one day he'll write a book. Maybe it'll be an audio book, because he has incredible insight. Let us pause, though, and take this final break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The Economics and Statistics Office is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 14th. The surveys seek to collect information needed to answer these questions. How did the economy perform in 2023? In 2023, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit www.eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and to Miss Jerrica Campbell, Dr. Jean Hardwick. Thanks for joining us, and I'm hoping that the conversation about the turtle and turtle nesting season and turtle-friendly lighting is one that we will always encourage. I like, Ms. Jerrica, as you said just then, when I think of the turtle in that children's book, the tortoise and the hare, for me, Scripture talks about this race now, being for the faint of heart, and the slowest little wins the race. The turtle is this thing that is powerful. Mm-hmm. It has, good staying power. It's longevity, it's endurance, it's stamina, it's strength.
It's pride for us too. I mean, we have to put arms.
Right. It's all these things, right? And on top of the turtle, there's this coil attached rope that is indicative even more of who we are. So when you reference, it's part of our history, we don't look at it and see it as anything other than majestic, powerful, empowering, courageous. Mm-hmm. It travels, it's seen the world, it lives forever, almost, right? Mm-hmm. It just makes me, it's just good stuff. But I want to ask another question based on the caller, but I think Ms. Susan shared, do we have another caller? I think when she's ready, we can ask 10, 9. She said, go to the phone. So, mm-hmm. Hey, welcome. Thanks very much for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you today, my friend?
Okay, and you?
Oh, man, I'm very, very thankful. I try to be grateful and gracious.
Okay. Good afternoon to you guys, too.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, concerning the turtle farm, we had some animal rights people here. I would say probably over 10 years ago now. And they were against the turtles being at the turtle farm. The way that we have been taking care of them. And they were trying to close it down, which I really don't agree with as a Caymanian. But I do have a problem as a Caymanian and as a person who pretty much loves animals, especially turtles, being grown up here in the Cayman Islands. The turtle crawl being so overcrowded. I don't know why the government doesn't provide more space at the turtle farm by closing off the lagoon where people snorkel, or move half of the turtles into the Eastern District by providing a turtle crawl for them in the Eastern District, which will help them in that area when it comes to tourism. But I don't think it's fair for animals such as turtles who are so intelligent that they're able to come back to where they're born after swimming around the whole world to be in a turtle crawl where it's so crowded that they can barely swim. It reminds me of a prison, a 2-man prison cell that has 20 people in the cell instead of 2. So I don't know how you all feel about it, but I don't think it's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the government should do something about it, especially a country like Cayman that has the finances that we have. I do personally think it's cruelty, the way those turtles are being taken care of, being crowded, and in that turtle crawl, and living in that way for such a long time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll say thank you so much for calling and for your concern. I really appreciate the call. I would definitely encourage you to reach out to your MP and voice concerns like this. The Department of Environment, we don't control the Turtle Center, so you can also voice your concern to the Turtle Center as well. But, we really, really appreciate when people voice their concern, and I can hear the passion and the love you have for the sea turtles, and I really appreciate it.
This is where public discussion and questions and comments. We do have one other, I think. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling, Dr. Jean Hardwick and Ms. Jerrica Campbell from the Department of Environment, our guests.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion this afternoon, knowing that the economics of this community, the Cayman community, in the early years was turtles. And to see that the habitat of turtle nesting, is just being devoured. And I'm sure research, I believe there would probably be research that would support this. You think the area from Bogasan Road, where Bogasan Road starts, down to
we're losing that part, sir?
Well, I think up until about, I'd say 5 years ago, maybe not 5, I'd say 6, 7 years ago, and that stretch of beach, on any given turtle nesting season, there were probably, I'd say anywhere between 35, 45, 55, 65, 75 turtle nests. And I venture to say that in the last 3 years, there probably not have been 5. And with the habitat being destroyed, what can be done about it, or what should be done about it? I mean, you're talking about turtle-friendly lights. There ain't no turtle-friendly lights. This is all, I don't want to put a hound to it, but there aren't any turtle-friendly lights.
Well, let's ask that. I mean, to the caller's point, thank you, sir. Is there such a thing as turtle-friendly lighting?
So the caller has the right idea. So there is turtle-friendly lighting, but when you don't have the habitat for the turtles, no matter what the light is, it's not going to be enough to protect them. So really and truly, setbacks need to be maintained. You need to allow for the beach to come and go naturally. So things like elevating your structure, just setting it back off of the active beach, making sure that there is an area for the turtles to nest. They have other things they're competing with. There's still some poaching. We still have climate change that's warming the sand and having less places for them to nest with, increased storms and the nest being washed out. They have all these competing things. So I can answer the turtle-friendly lighting bit to say that turtle-friendly lighting is referencing a suite of lighting options that have been in use in Florida and other jurisdictions in the U.S. for almost 30 years now, and it's a combination. So you shouldn't be able to see the bulb or the glowing lens standing on the nesting beach. So the lights need to be downward directed, not pointing up into the sky. They need to be as low as needed for the safety and comfort of humans, and also of a long wavelength. So I like to think of the long wavelength when you think of a typical rainbow. The colors on the outside tend to be like the red, the orange, that amber. So it's all of all of those colors, anything that's 560 nanometers is what we use to measure it and above. And the turtles are less sensitive to that wavelength of light because they spend their lives underwater. But enough of the light can still impact turtles. They're not blind to it. And so as the caller rightfully said, like, there's no like truly turtle light that's going to be like 100% safe for turtles. But what we can do is shield the light source, use the lowest amount of light needed to be comfortable and safe, and make sure that the light that is lamped in the fixtures is this amber color, this long wavelength light.
I recognize the time. Any other comments, sir?
Well, after all that she said, where do you get an angle that can match the rays coming from the moon and the wavelength?
So we just want to not distract them for the moon, because instinctually their instinct is to come up out of the nest and they go towards the brightest light they can see, and that should be the moon and stars reflecting on the ocean surface. So you're trying to get a light that's not going to attract them, that they're not going to notice, and they'll move away from you want the beach to be dark, so move away from the dark to the bright white moon reflecting on the ocean surface and get safely to the sea.
Yeah, but who's going to create that? Really, there's no turtle friendly lighting. Anyways,
yes, sir.
That's my.
But thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. I recognize the time, and I thank you for allowing us to, make somewhat of an abbreviated, but publicly, let's have other discussions, and we can focus on this and get us to appreciate. But in quickly closing, the turtle nesting season, can we tell the public when it is? Is it like, everybody knows mango season, unless when it's not.
Yeah, so turtle nesting season begins 1st of May until the 30th of November. In reality, we normally have a couple of turtle nests in April, so they do start a little bit earlier. Right now, it's loggerhead nesting season. We're expecting green turtles to also start nesting fairly soon. We've recorded around 50 nests so far across the 3 islands. That's very similar to our numbers at this time last year, so we're expecting probably quite another big nesting season, which is exciting. But that's just loggerhead nests so far. So we'll have to see how the green turtles do. But yeah, I think we would like to say a few things about how the public can help us during the nesting season, because there are so many threats on the beaches for turtles. So aside from the turtle-friendly lighting, which is a major one, if you don't have turtle-friendly lighting installed, it is really great if you can reduce your beachside lighting as much as possible, and even switch all the lights off during the nesting season. That's the ideal, situation for turtles. Beach chairs and beach furniture are a real hurdle for turtles when they come up to nest. We've already seen this season twice now turtles have come out the water to find somewhere to nest and have hit beach furniture, knocked it over, turned around and gone back in. So they haven't laid eggs because they've been deterred by things on the beach. So put that furniture aside, in the evening, so the turtles have space to come up. What else do we have that's...
So since we're in turtle nesting season, I would remind everyone that heavy equipment and vehicles on the beach is not allowed without consent from the D.O.E. So you can email emu.doe@gov.ky to check if there's any nests that will be impacted. So this involves clearing sargassum, just beach grooming, and any of these things. Please reach out to the DOE. We try to get these done within a day. And I would also say that if you see a sea turtle in danger, you can call our 24-hour sea turtle hotline at 938-NEST. So that's 938-6378. Okay, thank you, Jane.
938-NEST.
And
I always forget that bit.
Another point is if you want to have a beach barbecue, bonfire. Bonfire. You need to check first for a permit. So if it's on a public beach, you can contact the Public Lands Commission. And if it's a private beach, you contact the fire department. They then get in touch with us. We can check if there's any nests on that beach. And if there are no nests, you will get a permit to have the bonfire. But if there are nests in the area, then we'll recommend another area nearby that's safe to have that.
This is for our bonfire.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I would thank you again, but I would like very much for you to come on and we'll talk because it goes on through the end of November, right?
Yeah.
But a lot is happening in terms of development and maybe just being reminded. Thank you all, and please again accept our gratitude, but our desire to facilitate others, your willingness to be so amenable. All right, I'm going to pause. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, well, more discussion. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. Representatives from Cayman National recently presented 6 schools with new cricket equipment valued at approximately $15,000 to help enhance the school's programs. In international news, the North Atlantic could get as many as 7 major hurricanes of Category 3 strength or over this year, which would be more than double the usual number the U.S. weather agency NOAA has warned. Normally, you'd expect 3 major hurricanes in a season. As many as 13 Atlantic hurricanes of Category 1 or above are forecast for the period, which runs from June to November. Record-high sea surface temperatures are partly to blame, as is a likely shift in regional weather patterns. While there's no evidence climate change is producing more hurricanes, it is making the most powerful ones more likely and bringing heavier rainfall. Singer Cassie has posted her first statement since video emerged showing rapper Sean Diddy Combs attacking her. The star, whose full name is Cassandra Ventura, said domestic violence broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. The video of the attack in 2016 was released last week by CNN. Ms. Ventura had alleged her ex-boyfriend and producer assaulted her in a legal action last year. Diddy apologized at the weekend, commenting in an Instagram video, "I was disgusted when I did it, I'm disgusted now." In her statement, which was posted to Instagram, Ms. Ventura thanked her friends, family, and the public for their support. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA's Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Richard Ellsworth Bush, 1860-1944.
Richard Ellsworth Bush went to sea at the age of 16. His parents passed away in 1887, and he took care of his sisters and brothers. He was one of the few men in the Cayman Islands who had a Master Mariner certificate from England. He was also a boat builder, modeling, building, and sailing 4 vessels: the Firefly, the Lily, the Gladwin, and the 79-ton Klosking, which he co-owned with 2 other men. Richard Bush saved 2 men from drowning during the storms in Georgetown Harbor. Richard Bush was the father of Gladwin Bush, better known as Miss Lassie.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation's signature gala, Saturday, May 25th, Marriott Beach Resort. Exploring and developing, implementing suicide prevention, mental health resolution focused on children and young people in our community. Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation Gala, supported by Rotary Central. Get your tickets now. ally.spears@outlook.com. That's ALLY.SPEIRS@outlook.com. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
This is a rough ride. Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's going to be another great day, and if you think about it, it's the month of May, and everything in May is great. I'll tell you why in a minute, because tomorrow's Friday, and somebody's celebrating their birthday, but today we'll celebrate. It's interesting, as we look at colors, red always seems to either make you hungry, make you reminded of what lies ahead. When you think of the Red Cross in particular, universally, it's an organization that enjoyed great respect because of what it brings to the table. It's through its personnel, through its programming, and the idea that it's there as this entity that serves to be impartial. It's just there to serve irrespective of anything. And its color gives it a particular prominence, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. So, my good friend, I'm glad that you can come along as we get to engage.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's been a while now, and it's always a pleasure to be back.
All right, I appreciate it. Good seeing you the other day as well. Well, as I asked you to, hopefully they'll use it for me. A brief intro as we sort of scheduled and scripted.
No worries. So, hi everyone. Name's Eddie Tinney Miller. Familiar in the community. I'm the Community Engagement Program Manager at Cayman Islands Red Cross. People associate me with disaster management primarily in the years, so I'm assisting with that program as well, but I'm sort of managing the community outreach side of things at the Red Cross.
There it is, man. And that outreach, that notion that Red Cross is synonymous with disaster preparedness. I see how increasingly we are responsive both to things happening here, but in the region.
Yeah.
And then the training is universal and international.
Absolutely.
And maybe through what we have here. There are other things that we can do to engage, enrich, and empower, but also encourage others that they must excel equally.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on board.
I know, it's good to be here. And I'll just introduce a colleague as well next to me. It's Jada Dunkley. It's a program support officer at the thrift store. So she's a fundamental part of our team and does a great job managing the store, the operations, etc.
Ms. Jada, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
I don't know about you, but I feel a bit nervous. Are you nervous?
It's all right. We're good.
All
We're
right.
good.
Okay. But listen, don't feel too nervous, because after this, there's lunch.
Yeah.
All right. And you're amongst friends. Really Cayman is probably the most welcoming and inviting place you'll ever find. I mean, the reception as you walked in, the door was open, right?
Yeah.
You just come right in. It's just a beautiful place. But we also are respectful of what you do as individuals, but as an entity within the Red Cross community. I think from what we gather, the Cayman chapter, or not told, is a subset of the British Red Cross. It's highly revered.
Yes.
Without exaggeration.
Yeah. And we're, like you said, you raise a good point that people associate kind of the Red Cross internationally, locally, with first aid management, training. Obviously, we have the emblem, like the medical emblem on there that people associate with first aid. And obviously, disaster management is a key program that we have as well. But we have, obviously, a child protection program. His name is Dr. Shreya, who's quite a regular on your show, which is great, promoting child protection in the community. And obviously, with us now, we have the community engagement side of things with the thrift store, working very closely in the districts and the sister islands, raising the flag, helping the vulnerable. Those sort of areas we're going to talk more about today.
And Miss Carolina Ferro, that was there prior, she was here very, very regularly. Through that discussion, we were able to not only get a sense of, accessibility, but get people to a space where they understood what was happening. So I'm hoping that Dr. Shreya will be as open to accepting invites to come more frequently, and we can talk about much. But as we get into our discussion, Ms. Jada, anything you want to share? Welcome. I mean, how do you feel? And talk to us. I mean, we can talk about the thrift store and your aspect in it, and the service areas, what's under your program and the like. But talk to us. How are you today?
I'm doing good today.
Doing good. It's gonna be a good day, huh?
Yeah.
Ain't the day ending in a way?
Over, so.
Nah, the day's just starting. Think about it. It's just 1:15. That's a song there, I'm sure. All right, well, there we go. But the phrase community engagement program, what does that mean?
So we're going for sort of a change. Nothing's really changed per se in terms of the services that we're providing, but just the theme and the topic and the accessibility we're trying to improve. So again, everyone's familiar with the thrift store. We have a lot of regular customers. It's been established for many, many, many years, way before I was born. That's a long time ago. But talk about that another day. But we're trying to sort of rebrand that section. So community engagement is the thrift store falls under that as one service that we provide, a huge service. But also we have our referrals, a referral system. A lot of people are vulnerable. People don't have money. They need access to services. So they're coming into the store and we're able to provide them with clothing, household items.
Right. In many jurisdictions, I'm just thinking as you share that, there are these stores, thrift store, there are different names ascribed to them, and you go and you go in there and you buy and you find vintage things, you find all sorts of things, and the public is encouraged to buy because it's supposed to programs. Is the thrift store at the Red Cross a similar thing? So if I'm looking for something, or is it only accessible a certain way? I mean, how do...
No, I mean, we have such a mixed bag of... I mean, Jody will talk a little bit more about that in a second, but we do have such a mixed bag of items in there, clothing primarily. We have golf clubs, household items. And our customer base reflects that as well. We have people, with doctors, lawyers, plumbers, mechanics, a whole screed of people. We have a regular principal who comes in, gets their... won't name who it is, but comes in, gets their Armani suits or whatever. So I think there's always a stigma attached with charity shops or thrift stores. I'm going to be first to admit it. When I was younger, we didn't have a lot of money in the UK. My mum used to drag myself and my sister to the charity shop, and we used to say, I hope my friends don't see me in here. But times have changed, and people are understanding that recycling is far better than buying things firsthand, and it's so expensive to get some clothing, not just in Cayman, everywhere. So the other bonus with what we're talking about and what we're trying to achieve is all the money we receive in the store goes right back into the Cayman community to help people that are vulnerable. I'm not driving a Porsche, and Jada hasn't got a penthouse on the beach.
Sure?
We get asked that sometimes. But the money, seriously, everything, every cent goes back into the community. And once you sell that story and tell people, they're a lot more happier to come back and donate.
And we're recognizing too that many of us will donate our clothing, our furniture, our things. And not because they're no good or no use. We, instead of having a yard sale of sorts or, putting it on some site to sell, we will come and donate it knowing that it's beneficial.
Absolutely.
Many jurisdictions encourage that because they're a tax incentive.
Yes.
But in the Cayman context, I gather, like in many other jurisdictions, people will come to the thrift shop. One, they find something that they only heard their grandparents talk about.
Yeah.
They hope to find that thing.
Yeah.
But secondly, it's now vogue. Jada, are you seeing the young people coming in there and going, I want my platform shoes and my bellboard? I don't know. What are you finding?
We don't get young people that often. We do get a couple of them, and they do go for the vintage things or...
Pull a little closer to you, Miss Jada. Don't do what the last guy did. I pulled the mic close to him, he went back. I pulled it close to him, he went back.
Against the wall.
It was like, okay.
So they do go for the older items, vintage things, probably stuff that is hard to ship to this island. So we do get a variety of people in the store.
Do you take requests? Because I'm looking for a first edition.
Depends.
I'm just kidding. But it's interesting, some of the things you may find.
Yeah.
And the willingness of some people to knowingly. They're going to donate this to the Red Cross thrift store. They understand this value, both the financial value, what it costs, but also the thing itself. And lo and behold, those regulars may stumble across a treasure.
Yeah, and it's happened a lot. I've got good authority in the last couple of months. We sell books in there. One gentleman, a bit of a bookworm, and he said, came to the register, you know what this is? To me, I was like, a book, being funny with him. Said, this is a first edition, blah, 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 signed by, Stephen King or whatever. I'm sure it had some significant value, but generally Stephen Miller, something I wrote many years ago. But it's going back to about donation drives, it's actually interesting to learn that in Bermuda, they have the opposite problem that we have here. So I'm talking about Red Cross now. They actually, as part of their budget, have to advertise donation drives, because people don't do it as much as we do in Cayman. And I don't know why that is. I think someone said to me it's because, people want to give things more to the community, or Cayman's more transient. So in terms of a lot of people on 1 year work permits, they leave islands. It's cheaper to. Yeah. I don't know. You can't pinpoint it, but we're very fortunate that people are willing to donate, not just to us and to all the other thrift stores.
It's an interesting comment, and it's probably why I like with the Red Cross. Just thinking, as you shared earlier, the notion of the amount of people that are willing to volunteer.
Yes.
As Mr. Marlin has always shared, they give of their time, their talent, and their treasure. That word transient, for some reason, it has unfortunately come into our vogue in recent times. It wasn't, in my mind, that we were a transient community.
No.
We did implement some immigration legislation that may have created that, but like so much we adopt. But I think what it is, though, is that the people here, they see the kindness it's around. There are people who would have done so wherever they were from, but they weren't encouraged. It wasn't as easy. It wasn't almost the mindset. Right, Mr. Jada? People come and they give freely. They give you good things. You go, you're giving this away? Yeah, they want to.
We get a lot of donations every single day.
Yeah. People, and it's not junk. It's not that they're giving out. They're actually giving. As you shared, I was thinking to a friend, like many family members, who shopping in their closet is, think of the best clothing store in the world, but you don't have to pay for it. They have good things and they give it away. And that, I think, speaks volumes to what the community is. So where is the Red Cross thrift store? Is it like on Fifth Avenue? I don't even know Fifth Avenue. Where is it?
It's part of the Red Cross shelter, so it's on Holder Avenue, opposite Hamlin's Farmers Market, next to Credit Union, Barnett Building.
Just down from the glasses up from the street.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just around the corner. And we've got a bank across the road if you want to get your money and bring it over to us. It's perfectly located. It seems to work well. We could always do with more space. but it's been there for so long. People are very familiar with it. We had renovations a few years ago. We had to move to Cannon Place, or Mirco Centre as it used to be called. That worked very well. But yeah, people know where we are. Occasionally we get someone who's never been. We had a gentleman come in the other day. He's been on Ireland 15 years, never been in the store, was blown away with the things available for sale. So it's about promoting it a bit more, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. And start up a little thrift shop network, which I've started to do personally. I've reached out to the other thrift stores, understanding how they operate, as a partnership. We have a lot of items donated to us for pet items. And I just take those to the Humane Society, to be honest with you. We get cages, we get bowls and all that sort of stuff. We could sell that for a profit, but we don't. I sort of accumulate that and take it to the thrift stores that need it more. And they reciprocate with us. They bring clothing to us and vice versa. So, yeah.
Mr. What are your hours? I mean, is it 24 hours? Do you do deliveries? Is it concierge shopping? I mean,
so our hours, we are open. The store is open 3 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. On Tuesday and Thursday, we're open 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So, and then the other days we're closed.
So what I'm hearing is those days you're closed, those are like personal shopping days. I could come in with my team.
No.
You don't provide that service, concierge.
Let me make a note of that for next year's plan.
Yeah, there you go. Valet, what was it? Yeah, personal
shop. That's a good idea, yeah.
For a premium, you can come in and you get 2 hours and escorted around.
Yeah.
I know some people that would take on that.
I'm sure you would, yeah.
No, but I say that because in speaking to a number of the young people, Mr. why I asked that question, they're off to university, and some of them, the things that they've heard, in many cases, it's their grandparents, right? What's a cassette tape? What's a vinyl? And now they don't only want it because it's retro, but it's a recognition that things have value, right, Mr. I mean, I'm sure you got an 8-track collection.
What?
I'm just dictionary somewhere.
It's probably not even a picture anymore.
It's funny how times change, because there'd be a lot of people listening to this now who won't believe a few things that we're going to say. Obviously, experience prevails. So, books, for example, we don't sell them.
No.
You can barely give them away. And only we have one person coming a week who's an avid book reader, and they'd be heartbroken if we stopped selling books. But at the end of the day, we're a retail outlet, and people in retail, you're not going to sell something. It's not as obvious as that. It doesn't make sense to have a third of our wall space selling something it doesn't sell. So they're trends that we've got to look at. Again, in the UK, you can't donate vinyl, you can't donate CDs. Thrift stores don't accept them anymore. They politely say, we're not taking them, because exactly that, people don't buy those anymore. So we want to try and accommodate our regulars and our loyal customers, but we've got to be realistic going forward as well. If dresses are going to supersede sales of books, we're going to get more dresses, and vice versa. So,
what size are you?
Yeah, not as small as I used to be, but yeah, there's something for everyone. That's all I'll say.
You know what? One of these days, come on, Mr. That was pretty good one. He set it up. What do you think?
He trapped me a lot.
Hey, be careful, man. But this is where I think, even in saying that, the community engagement, if we as a community have changed our values and our approach, it is not just about nostalgia. It's about recognizing how things have changed. Maybe we're no longer buying particular items of clothing. We only want this. Like much, things are changing. So for your customers and would-be customers, Mr. you have the open hours. There's only 3 days of the week, and it's a lot that happens in those hours, but there's a lot that needs to happen to facilitate when you're open. What do you want to tell us about the store? What is running the store like? What is it like?
So, we open at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock on the weekdays. Oftentimes we do have people lining up outside 30 minutes beforehand. So when I get there, I have to turn on the music and make sure the tills are set up, make sure the inside is clean. Then we have to make sure it's like the sorting room at the back door is closed, stuff like that, little things. We also try to make sure that the donations outside get picked up and brought inside on time, just so no one's really going through it before we have a chance to sort it. And then throughout the day, it's more just checking people out, as in their clothes. And
unfortunately, you got to clarify that.
Yeah.
Go up to the cash register. Does that even exist anymore?
Yeah.
People pay, and that's what you meant. That's what she meant.
Yeah.
And we don't normally do any sorting or anything on open days, just so we can cater to the customers more. Because we do have some customers, it's hard for them to walk around, so we help them out when we can. And then if we have any furniture that's not in the store, we'll bring them around, show it to them, things like that. Most times it feels like a pretty short day just because you're doing so much at one time, but
goes quickly, huh?
Yeah.
All right. When we come back from the commercial break, you talk about different programs and areas of assistance, and maybe expound a little further.
Definitely.
And we always want to ask about what training programs you have coming up, how do we access them, where they'll be, what will be the cost, different things. Volunteers, can we volunteer? How do we get more involved with, for want of a better word, sort of the board, the management, admin, those things? How does the Red Cross fit in with the whole landscape? Can we talk about all that?
Yeah, sure, yeah. A lot of moving parts. Happy to share that.
And can we get a track tape to show Jada? All right, Jada, don't be together with our good friend from Northside, Eddie. No, Mr. Desert. He's not. Join us after the break.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
Hey there, bargain hunters. Get ready for some serious savings at Cayman Turtle Center's tent sale. It's all happening Saturday, May 25th from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. But be quick because it's first come, first served. Swing by the Cayman Turtle Center courtyard and score amazing deals on everything you need. We have candles, kitchenware, clothing, swim gear, and a whole lot more waiting for you. Brought to you by Splash Gift Shop at Cayman Turtle Center. Visit Cayman Turtle Center's social media for more info. We'll see you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Introducing the new Shoreline iMap. Discover over 300 plus public shoreline access points in the Cayman Islands by using a new digital interactive map of all the public access pathways and beaches. Test out the new Shoreline iMap today and get walking or driving directions, see 360-degree street views, and find out what amenities are available at any shoreline access point found on the iMap. Dive into a world of coastal beauty and adventure. Use the Shoreline iMap today by visiting gov.ky/shoreline. Presented by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
You're welcome back, and always grateful for the opportunity for this community to see and to so easily show the wonderful positive things that happen and the people that participate in it. Ada Miller and together with Miss Jada Dunkley for joining us. Many of us look at the Red Cross and we see certain things that just stand out, and then there are other things that we don't even know transpire, not just behind the scenes, but continually. And there are ways many people who get involved, but good to know. So as part of their community engagement, we were asking what other areas of assistance is being offered to the Cayman community, and to what extent perhaps does that extend to other parts of the world and the region in particular. Eddie?
So again, we get a question a lot about, the stores open Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. We get a lot of regular customers saying, why don't you open later hours? Why are you closed 4 days a week? And the simple answer is because we're not just a thrift store. And that's the most important thing. We're trying to move away from that entity where we're just one thing. Community engagement is vast and broad. Okay. So in this context, we have a referral system in place. Okay. So it's almost like we want to be called the, Cayman Referral Centre going forward, trying to promote it and extend our services.
Okay.
But we work very closely with a lot of government agencies for many, many, many years. In fact, end of June, I have a community partnership meeting where I invite heads of department, Crisis Centre, NAU, DCFS, other charities, to name a few, coming together where they can refer their clients in confidence to the Red Cross, to the centre, to the store on closed days where if they're short of clothing, household items, we're not going to give them cash, we're not going to give them food vouchers. There's other NGOs that provide that service, and that's another key link. They can come in, they have a form that's filled in, it's embossed, it's stamped by the referring agent. Jada and myself and the volunteers, we're there. It's confidential, no one's looking around or what's going on. Some people have got their pride as well, so we get all walks of life coming in, so we're there to provide that service. So that's one thing a lot of people don't see behind the scenes. And what we're trying to improve is some of these people unfortunately don't know where to go to get financial support, or they don't know where to go to get mental health support or whatever. So that's another bridge we're trying to gap is please go to NAU for this, or please go to... One person said they didn't have a passport, they needed a passport, Jamaican consulate, so refer them to Jamaican consulate, make an introduction there, and those sorts of things. That's one thing that we're trying to improve on,
And I wanted to expound that, and earlier in alluding to the concierge, the personal shopping. Thank you for letting me
food for thought.
Yeah, because when you think about what you just shared, right, those days, let's say Monday, on Wednesday and Fridays that you're not open to the public. That clientele that we value and respect, if we give them that personal attention on those days, that's concierge service. They can come in.
That's true.
They don't have to be worried. You can facilitate, right? That's what I was hinting at.
No, you're right. That's fair enough.
Right? Because they can come in, because many of us, I'm sure, Ms. Jada, if someone walked in and that person wasn't sufficiently confident and self-assured and had a great sense of self, and you looked at him and go, but hey, Mrs. Ebanks, don't you own every business in Cayman and all the banks and all the money in the world? And they walked into the thrift shop. We probably may have a perception, she is, a little frugal. We won't be so kind. But she's going in there because she wants to support. Maybe she's looking for that vintage thing that you have marked on the shelf for $1, but she's willing to give you $1 billion for it. for whatever reason, right? So with that in mind, Ms. Jada, your work is very, very instrumental. I think we have a WhatsApp call, Miss Susan. Is that what that says? I can't read it. It's a call on the WhatsApp. We'll see what we can do if we can make the button hit the other button as we speak to Ada and Jada from the Red Cross. But those are the agencies that you were speaking of, that partnership. The Red Cross isn't a charity in that sense that we know it to be, or is it?
We're auxiliary to government, as we know. We assist there with shelter, the management, which we're doing training at the moment for disaster management. But again, we're there to sort of not spearhead or lead the other NGOs. That's a bit unfair. But in terms of initiatives where we need assistance, we're more than happy. One thing we're fortunate for is we do have a training space upstairs, which is our shelter, so we can accommodate other NGOs, other businesses to come, have these meetings, open discussions. It's just always just been easier that way for us to host it. We may not lead it, but the other NGOs can have our facilities to have their meetings. And that's been going on for some time now as well, which is another good partnership.
Well, my good folks, I think we have that caller connected, Mrs. Susan. Ms. Jada, if you would be so kind to join us in the conversation and put on those headsets. And they're classy and they're fancy looking, stylish, I'm telling you, man. All right, Ada Miller and Jada Dunkley are our guests as we go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon to you.
Hey, welcome back, man. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome, man. Good afternoon to you, guys, too.
Afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Afternoon.
Okay. Well, concerning the thrift shop at Red Cross, it's been a while since I haven't been there. But I've been to the Red Cross behind Cashwiz. They have a shop there in the back of Cashwiz.
I don't think
yes,
so. Yeah.
Excuse me.
It is saying that we don't have one, but
No, I think to be fair there, sir, I think you're referring to another thrift store. I'm aware of the one you're talking about behind Cashwiz, but it's not associated with the Red Cross, I'm afraid.
No, I'm not saying it's associated with the Red Cross. I'm just saying it's a thrift shop also.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I've been there, and the deal that they gave me was $25, and I was able to, whatever I could fit in a Foster's bag, no matter how many shirts or pants, once they could fit in that bag, I could get them all for $25.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you all are doing any deals like that, but I found some brand new clothes in that shop, and I found some shirts that if you go to Cayman Bay, you're going to pay about $65 for those shirts that I bought at the thrift shop, brand new.
I can believe it.
I encourage people to check out the thrift shop at the Red Cross, and I think they would be surprised to see what types of clothes or whatever else they're able to get for such low prices. I don't think they will regret it, and I think by them doing so, I think they will return, because like I said about that thrift shop behind Cashwiz, I think I'll be going there soon again, but I'll also be checking out the thrift shop at the Red Cross, because I'm not too proud to come to those places to buy something that is just as good as if I bought it at Cayman Bay if it's brand new. Or even if it's not brand new, and it's I'm still able to use it. I would still be willing to buy it. So I encourage people to support the Red Cross and check out the thrift shop, and I think they won't be disappointed.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you very much for that. And as the caller said, don't be too proud. You have pride, but you know. So thanks very much, sir, and hopefully happy hunting. We do have another caller. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, how are you today? The next, Oscar nominee or Grammy Award winning singer. Which one?
Grammy winner.
Good afternoon to the good people there.
Afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Oh, not bad.
Good.
I have 2 points I want to make, though.
Yes, sir.
If you all help homeless people find shelter, and I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to ask if a big favor of you, if you can, or if you will, or if you have plans to probably work toward homeless shelter for people in the Cayman Islands. I think it's a great need for that. I don't know if the Red Cross would be willing or able or has the power to probably raise funds and from those monies and sort of if you could, I would like to see it. It was one of my wishes that to see a homeless shelter for those that don't have anywhere or needs help in that area.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Do you want me to ask?
Yes, if you would, yes.
It's a good point the gentleman raises, and I know there's been some open discussions for a long, long time about providing that. I think the picture's a bit bigger than the Red Cross. Yeah. It's more sort of government involved and other NGO led. But however, it is a good point, and the thing we were going to touch on a bit later was, in my short tenure being at the store, our referral numbers have tripled since last year. And that's due to probably times are a lot harder than they were last year. Things are more expensive. People can't quite pay their light bill or whatever it is, or other things have popped up in their life. So people are getting more familiar with what we can offer, and again, I go back to the point, we can't give out cash. We're not giving out food per se. There are many, many fortunate services on island that can provide those services. But again, if you come in, you need some clothing. The first gentleman that said there about the other thrift store, I'm very familiar with it. We do similar sales like that where we have a bag of items. We have a $1 sale, which is coming up next week. Every item of clothing is $1. That's very popular, as you can imagine. And another thing I'd like to say is that our prices are very competitive. We have been probably the lowest priced thrift store for years. Again, other NGOs can charge what they want, but we have the usual customers saying your prices are too much, and they're really not. When you think about how much a pair of pants and a shirt costs, that gentleman said Cayman Bay or other places, we're very, very fair and competitive. We're not turning over a massive profit, that's all I'll say, just enough to keep the wheels turning.
And the money goes back into support.
Exactly. So if it goes back to the education. If you're coming in spending, a pair of pants is $4.50. If you're coming in and paying $15, that extra money is going straight back into the community. It's not an extra $10.50 for us to spend on something else. It's all going to the same cause.
Jada's penthouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my portion servicing. Yeah, but no, that's it. If you understand that mentality, then people feel a bit better to donate extra. And I think
that's what the community, the donations that you get. When we come back from this break, as we wrap up our discussion, the Cayman referral center, that aspect, does that preclude the regular customers from coming in as well and shopping in your thrift shop? What does that look like? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course.
All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Research has shown that worldwide, women have unique barriers to accessing health care. But what's the situation in Cayman? We want to know. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness.
Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation's signature gala, Saturday, May 25th, Marriott Beach Resort. Exploring and developing, implementing suicide prevention, mental health resolution focused on children and young people in our community. Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation Gala, supported by Rotary Central. Get your tickets now. ally.spears@outlook.com. That's ALLY.SPEIRS@outlook.com. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
This is Cody Scott, and I work in the water and wastewater sector. I am concerned about the vulnerability of our island's freshwater resources to climate change. Less rainfall and sea level rise affect the amount and quality of our natural freshwater. Households and the agricultural sector depend on these resources, as do our wetlands and forests. Protecting our freshwater resources is a critical priority. To learn more about the climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and we're grateful not just for the wonderful work that are done by many in our community through their respective entities, but individuals who, volunteer and the like, and Taylor Miller and, Ms. Jada Dunkley. Thanks for coming on board. I like the caller prior, the notion that through the Red Cross and the programming. But share with us, Eddie and Ms. Jada, you talked about sort of came out of referral, and I was asking earlier, help us understand what that means and what does it mean for, your customers, as it were.
So we're sort of moving with the times in terms of taking away from the thrift store entity that we're like a referral centre.
Right.
A lot more people are familiar with the service now. There's people learning about it every day. And I said earlier, at the end of June, I'm having a big community partnership meeting, inviting all the relevant stakeholders to that, increasing it actually to certain other individuals. But long story short, the referral numbers have increased. People need assistance with clothing, financial assistance, household items, etc., etc. And we've got an abundance of things at the store. We're very fortunate. If we have a sofa, we've got 5 more behind it willing to be donated. So we're very grateful and thankful for that. But with the referral process, we have people coming in ideally on the days that we're not open, which doesn't make sense to the regular customers. But they like the fact that they have that confidentiality, the privacy. Cayman's very small. They don't want people knowing their business. So they can come in respectfully. with their list or items. Sometimes we do have walk-ins, you know, and I'm not going to just say, or Jada, go get a referral form. It's evident, okay? So we can do a self-referral there.
Right.
And we give people items. One lady said she needed a fridge, single mother, you know, she hasn't got any money. I know who this lady is. She's not lying, you know. So fortunately, we did have a fridge donated to us. So we made arrangements for that to be delivered to her in West Bay. So there's all these little things behind the scenes that the everyday person's not seeing, but is a fundamental service that we're providing.
The concierge service.
Absolutely,
bespoke.
absolutely. And we do have people, I hate to say it, they turn up 8:30. If you come to the store 8:30 on a Saturday morning, it is chaos in there because, like Jada says, we have 30, 40 people queuing up outside. It's pandemonium. So we kind of tell people not to come between those times because we want to give you undivided attention, make sure you're getting the service that you need, and also help them understand the other services that are provided in Cayman. You know, like I said, people need money, they need food. Please speak to this, or I'll call them up myself.
Right.
So it's all those links underlying it. So.
I want to ask, you know, how can people who wish to donate, how they can do that? What sort of donations can they make? But Ms. Jada?
So if you're looking to donate, you can just stop by the store. You can just stop by the store. The days that we're open, we recommend donating just because we were able to bring it inside right away, and especially if you have any delicate items. Other than that, we have our drop box. You can just drop off items inside. It's normally open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., roughly around those times. And then if you have larger items like household items, sofas, we do offer pickups on weekends, on Saturdays. But we do need to have a chat beforehand just to see what it is, if we're able to take it, if we have space for it, things like that.
You know, I mean, someone who, okay. So are there any, what sort of things are you looking for? Are there any things that you say, well, I mean, I have a dump truck and this can tell me. What will you take? What do you take?
So we take clothing, furniture, household items, books, electronics, just the general items. Anything that we aren't sure about, or if they're not sure about, they can bring it in anyway. We'll let them know.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't sell, you know, we have alcohol sometimes donated. People have left medication in boxes. Probably one gentleman accidentally donated his you know, heart meds a few weeks ago, and you know, we're not going to put that on the shelf. So we have sort of lost property aspect of things as well. But anything really, and I just want to reiterate another point, which is sort of it causes a bit of stress in this part, is unsolicited donations overnight. We're actually working to secure the compound a little bit better. We're having a fencing and gate being installed in due course, because I hate to say it, people come in the early hours of the morning dumping items outside. They know we can't sell them. They're essentially, you know, trash or garbage. Not all of it, but it does happen, and it creates a lot of inconvenience for us because the next day the volunteers aren't coming in to clean up that sort of stuff, and we have to pay money essentially to take it to the dump, you know, so it's actually doing an injustice to us. But we get a lot of emails from people who are desperate. They're moving or leaving Ireland, and they've got a sofa to donate, and I'm trying to educate people that a sofa is a calculated purchase. Okay, it might take up 1/8 of our store, and it's not an impulsive buy. It sort of hangs around for a long time. Not that we're not grateful to receive it, but trying to tell people that something, a 3-piece suite, you know, it's going to take a long time for us to and we don't always have a list of clients who need that as well. We do occasionally, but not all the time. So that's a hard sell for us. Whereas if it was dresses, shorts, pants, that they turn over like almost instantaneously. So yeah, it's just being mindful of those sort of larger donations. We're not a storage facility.
Yeah, well, the two things that you shared, I'm hoping that we as a community would reevaluate the notion, and I think most of us subscribe to this. Our parents have said, you know, when you give people, you give of your best, you give willingly, lovingly, you just don't give them your garbage, you know. It has to be something of value, something good. So hopefully that's, you know, something that we are like, you know, and it's not. Right, Ms. Jada? You don't give away junk.
No.
All right.
That does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, but also to Eddie, in closing that sort of concerted effort amongst the different entities that you reference, if you are collaborative, then working together, the referral, a sofa here can go to a beneficiary there.
Yeah.
This one who may need some assistance in this way can be pointed in the direction that is there.
Yeah.
Because many times people want to help, but they don't know who to ask and where to go.
Yeah. So one of our initiatives, or community initiatives, is Deals on Wheels, where we take a mobile thrift store to a district. Happily say we're coming to East End this Saturday, so I reached out to Mr. Rankin, Miss Sharon there, promoting it. So hopefully every East End resident has received a flyer that we're coming there. And this is really, obviously it's a long way to come to town on a Saturday, you want to stay with your family and things. So we try and take things to the community. But not only that, there's a lot of elderly residents, they can't drive, they're infirm, they can't get to town. And we also have a request for certain items. So on Saturday, near Pirates Cove, where we always sort of park up, we'll be taking household items to East End, clothes for sale. It's actually the same process as the store, but we've got a washer, dryer for someone in the community who needs it, free of charge, for example. So we sort of take some of those household items to the district so they can,
because Jada is, with the times, and you and I probably only familiar. It's like a pop-up shop, right? Is that what they call it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jada's like, that's exactly what it is.
And also, the time frame we're there, people engage with us. Oh, actually, I want to do first aid training, or tell us a little bit about this. So it's brand awareness. It's flying the flag. I keep telling our volunteers, it's not always about making $1 million there. If we don't make anything, it's good advertising, talking to the community, and providing a service which is well needed. Yeah. And we change that every month to a different district. So we're in Northside last month, we'll go to West Bay next month, etc.
Building a resilient community.
Yes.
The more of us who have that training, it builds confidence, but it's also a resource. Thank you very much. I certainly engage with you more often as we close our discussion. Any final thoughts today, Ms. Jada?
Not that I can think of.
Well, keep up the great work. Thanks for joining us today. And best to Eddie.
Thanks for having us, Sterling. Much appreciated. And again, big shout out to all our volunteers, again, because we wouldn't be here without them and our regular customer base. Thank you for keep coming back, supporting the Red Cross and your community, ultimately. We wouldn't be here without you. So massive thank you to everyone involved.
Well, to you, the volunteers and the team, thank you very much, but in particular to Dr. Shreya for facilitating and scheduling this for us.
Yes.
So very, very grateful. That's why the partnership works.
Brilliant.
All the best. I mean, you're going to East End on Saturday.
Yes. We'll be out there, get some fish on the way.
Pirates
Marvin's,
Cove? Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a popular spot. Hopefully there'll be quite a few people arriving for it, but yeah.
You know what?
We'll be out there on Saturday, yeah.
Well, safe trip. I know you're going to have a wonderful time as you taste the salt here. Right in East End, right?
Look forward to that.
From, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to pause and take a break. I can see if I can encourage Miss Susan to join me after. Let's see. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. From 4:30 p.m. today, representatives from various Cayman Islands law enforcement agencies will be taking part in the Law Enforcement Torch Run, which marks the opening ceremony of the 2024 Special Olympics. Motorists are advised that the runners will be supported by a police escort and rolling road closure along the route, starting at the Smith Road Oval at 4:30 p.m. and concluding at the Lions Center at 5:30 p.m., where the official opening ceremony will take place. In international news, a London-born teenager whose proficiency at spreading the teachings of the Catholic Church online led to him being called God's influencer is set to become a saint. Carlo Acutis died in 2006 at the age of 15, meaning he would be the first millennial to be canonized. It follows Pope Francis attributing a second miracle to him. It involved the healing of a university student in Florence who had bleeding on the brain after suffering head trauma. Carlo had been beatified, the first step towards sainthood in 2020, after he was attributed with his first miracle, healing a Brazilian child of a congenital disease affecting his pancreas. The second miracle was approved by the Pope following a meeting with the Vatican's saint-making department. It is not yet known when he will be canonized. A second human case of bird flu has been found as an outbreak spreads among birds and cows in the U.S. The patient works on a Michigan dairy farm and had regular exposure to livestock infected with the H5N1 virus, according to authorities. The first case in Texas was found in a farm worker less than 2 months ago. Both patients had only mild symptoms and have recovered. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the risk to the general public remained low. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments May 21st through the 25th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you are seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 949-9020. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Mark, thank you for joining us, and thanks to all who volunteer. I reference and give her credit for saying it often, Ms. Marlene. She talks about giving of her time and her talent and her treasure, and some give, all three, an equal measure. Some may only find that they can at some time volunteer of their time. Some would share, from their wealth. Many have incredible gifting, so they give of that as well. So thank you all for being so gracious and willing to help in our communities. And to the Red Cross, as we had a chance to chat with them, remember, for our good friends and family in East End on Saturday, they're going to be up there, I guess in today's words, a pop-up shop, so to speak. They call it Deals on Wheels. So the MP Isaac Rankin and the Honourable Minister, that's his district. So enjoy it. Pirates Cove, good place to set up. Well, it's open line for the remainder of the program. I was trying to encourage Miss Susan, because we've been doing this show together for the longest time, and even though as schedule allows from vacation otherwise, we have a fantastic team who sits where she normally does when we do the show. But in all these years, of listening to her music, understanding the great knowledge that she has of the music, we rarely can engage her on air, and yet when we do, it's just a wonderful opportunity. So I'll keep encouraging her, because as public as she is in managing the airwaves, she still has that sense of being reserved. So good to be that person who is always appreciated. It is open line 949-8037. Let's take these calls. Welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Mr. Sterling.
Welcome back, sir. How are you?
Me again.
So of course. Thanks for calling back, man.
Man, I like that one you put on the award-winning singer.
Well, listen. I believe that you have that ability. I honestly believe that if you were in another jurisdiction, you might have just very much, already been celebrated and have that acclaim. But it's still early days, we're still young. There's still hope. There's still opportunity.
Right. I want to sort of speak a little more on the homeless shelter. People have been asking, they heard me on the radio talking about it, and they said, I like that. Speak more about it and see what happens. I believe that you got good-hearted politicians in the country that would do it. You can build it, and you can have the people learn different skills, like the other gentleman were talking about. What's it called again? The trade school.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a little, they learn various trades there, learn different things. If they can't cook, you can learn cooking there. You can learn different life skills, and that's what they've been talking about. So it comes from different people, the ideas, and just form into this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's as you speak to that issue, maybe it'll cause others to ask, well, how needed is it? How, urgent is it? And perhaps why and to what extent and when, but also, what can we do to ensure that this doesn't become something that affects so many that goes unheeded. So I appreciate it. Before we take the next call, what else you want to share?
Well, as we know, there's still hope.
Yeah. Never lose hope, right? Never give up.
All right.
All right, man. Take care, all right?
Okay.
All right. Good talking to you. And let's take one more call before we take the next break. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. What's happening?
Yeah, good afternoon again, Dwayne.
Thank you very much. I always appreciate when you, like others, make time to call.
Okay. Especially when it's something important.
Especially, yes. And if it's important to you, we will certainly make it a priority to listen,
Okay. Well, this morning I was listening to Bobo FM with Sandra Catron.
Mm-hmm.
They were speaking about a gentleman who was a contractor. And I know the gentleman. I grew up with him. and it was very disappointing to hear what they were saying about him concerning finances people were giving him to build their homes or repair their homes, and they were not repaired properly. And the people that he had employed to do the work, they were not treated in the way that they should have been treated. And I spoke to you concerning contractors in West Bay on Northwest Point Road who are making their employees pay for all of their health insurance. When these subcontractors are paid enough that they're able to pay for half of the health insurance for their employees. And I also spoke to a friend of mine who's also working at a construction site in West Bay, not the same site, a different site in Burstry Hill.
Right, okay.
On Monday gone, I spoke to him Monday gone, and he said that he wanted to go to work on Monday, even though it was a holiday, because he wanted to get the double time. And he was told by his boss that he was not going to allow him to work because he was not going to pay him double time. But his boss made other individuals who were from his country, Jamaica, he made them come to work, but he did not pay them double time. So these contractors in the Cayman Islands are becoming very corrupt. And they're stealing a lot of money. And it's unlawful. And the government has to put a stop to it immediately. They need to send the labor board, the immigration department, and anybody who needs to be investigating these things to go to these job sites and put a stop to what's going on here. Because this is the same reason they don't want to hire Caymanians. And the government also you have to put the blame on them also. Because the over $1 billion worth of concessions that has been given away now over the past 25 years, we could have had a trade school in every district in the Cayman Islands right now if the government had took that money and built these trade schools. I was told by a gentleman when I was working at Watercolors, doing construction at Watercolors, he was a plumber and he was the supervisor. And he said it's bad what the Cayman Islands government is doing the young people here. They don't even have one professional trade school. He said in Jamaica, we have trade schools. And he said 75% of the people here on this job site from Jamaica went to trade schools. And I don't understand why these politicians that we put in there know these things for such a long time and still have not done anything about it.
Why do you think that is, I mean, why is it that the government, the elected parliamentarians, the wider populace, whether it's a trade school or it's employment or lack of enforcement or whatever it is, why do you think that is? That we just turn a blind eye to it, we're not being receptive to it, we're not doing anything about it. I mean, what's your view?
Well, Dwayne, it leads me to start thinking about corruption. And I hope that's not involved. Because from 2015, when I was helping to build Watercolors, this has been going on. It's now going on 2025. The Auditor General, the Auditor General made a report in the newspaper and said that all the concessions that have been given away, the Caymanians have nothing to show for it. And that's been quite a while now. I read that report in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the government also read that report.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have definitely, been banging our gong for a long time, and you've shared, in relation to construction, some of the allegations, relative to non-payment or the illegal practice, as you shared, if it occurs, right? But if we're not doing anything about it, well, isn't that on us?
Well, Dwayne, like I said before,
Mm-hmm.
the construction site in West Bay, Northwest Point, there are 170 employees there on that job site. And some of them are paying $300 a month out of their own pay for their health insurance. And if the majority of them are paying, say, $200 to $300 a month for their health insurance, that means that the subcontractors that they're working for are saving for themselves almost $400,000 a year. So this is very serious, Dwayne.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about the concessions, part of the deal is 60% of the workforce on the job site building these buildings are supposed to be Caymanians. But how can you provide 60% of the workforce being Caymanians if you don't provide the trade schools? Public Works Department, UCCI, and Michael Miles cannot do that. They cannot provide 60% of the workforce on job sites the way that trade schools would be able to provide if we had one in every district.
Mm-hmm.
Then our young men, instead of being around people, places, and things that would get them in problems, they're able to ride their bicycles to these trade schools in our neighborhoods, go home for lunch, and go right back to the trade schools after lunch, and they're able to get their certificates, get work on these job sites, and then after a while even start their own construction business and hire their own Caymanians. But it seems like they're trying to stop all this. And the majority of these people, subcontractors, are not full-blooded Caymanians. And then we have some of these subcontractors who are celebrating independence from their countries or their country because of slavery. They're celebrating independence, but yet they bring their own people here in Cayman and they slave their own people and steal money from their own people, which is ridiculous. If I had the power to do so, Dwayne,
Mm-hmm.
I would investigate these things. And if I find it to be true that this is going on, if I had the power, I would put each and every one of those individuals in prison. Thank you very much, Dwayne.
And thank you. And I believe we have the final short break and then another call. So stay tuned.
Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation's signature gala, Saturday, May 25th, Marriott Beach Resort. Exploring and developing, implementing suicide prevention, mental health resolution focused on children and young people in our community. Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation Gala, supported by Rotary Central. Get your tickets now. ally.spears@outlook.com. That's ALLY.SPEIRS@outlook.com. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Account Council of Older Persons is proud to present the first Aging in the Cayman Islands Forum. This forum will be held on Saturday, 15th of June at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI and is free to the public and open to all ages. Registration will open at 8:30. Presenters and topics aim to truly reflect the needs of Caymanians and residents so we can all age with dignity. For more information, visit www.gov.ky/Older Persons Council.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us as we take this next call on the WhatsApp, and then maybe one final after that. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, how you been, my friend?
Right, yeah, boy. Just holding it out, you know. First of all, I want to thank the last caller. Always bringing that about. Always telling him, say, don't give up and keep calling, keep making it nice, keep stomping the foot, everything. Please. And first of all, you know, Mr. Dwayne, I got about 20 different kind of smoke. You know, so let me show you one in 1 minute. I want to dedicate one song to, you know, the people that they love to fight down, the children, them, the youths, them, as much as they can, you know, because it kind of like look like they love that. You understand? Like nobody, they don't want nobody to take the place. So I just want to dedicate that Teddy Prendergrass song, I Love TKO. Tell them chill out and just play that and try to understand what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And them youths you had in there yesterday, I think it was.
Yes. That wasn't good to see that, man. And listen, to have Miss Scott bring some of her students, and what was great was just to listen to them, to hear them. But the many people after who messaged and reached out and said, wow, and this is what we do, our teachers hold a bar high and we partner with them. So it was awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now tell me something, Mr. Dwayne. You don't think say all them youths them work at least $25 a day? Thing what man talk about from a long time.
Yeah, you were saying if we can give them an incentive to go to school by paying them, so to speak, right? What they would get when they graduate, when they finish, like put it towards their further education.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Man. Yeah.
Right. But then, like the last caller said, they give it so much concessions to these other people and expect nothing back. Like, you really think they're not get nothing back? They got plenty of money back or some whatever they got back. They got some fancy cheesecake back, something like that. They is too slick and too unreliable around here, man. And if it would just be all of us get together, like let's just say every Wednesday or every Thursday, every one of us that on the job site, that's around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or whatever, just go run and jump in the sea. Just say, that our protest, we're not going to stomp the road, we're not going to do anything, we just going to run and jump in the sea wherever we is, just to show them, say who the real boss is. Like, we is in control of our own time and not them. Right? So, and then, like I said, the $25 a day thing for the youth, I mean, why you don't feel that they deserve that? I mean, not you, I'm talking about the rest of these so-called, church praising, God loving people. I mean, you praise God, but yet you're willing to deny, your own to get above or to step up somehow. You really believe, say, you getting into the so-called gates of heaven through doing that. And I just can't believe the hypocrisy, man. I just cannot believe it. And then you spend $200 million a year. Like I keep repeating, is $200 million a year on the ganja thing. They just keeping on with this sham that they is better than all of us because what God sent them. God sent them here to put us at work and slave for nothing. Come on, man. I mean, like that just, like I said, that is probably like two different kind of smoke right there that share with you, you understand? I talking about smoke and mirrors, you know?
Yeah.
I ain't talking about what they thinking I talking about. And it's just not, I don't see anybody having any, like today I believe say another youth kill himself today or something like that, suicide.
Yeah, I think that if I'm hearing you correctly, we need to be not just sensitive, but we need to be cognizant that there are much that is impacting our society, and are we aware of potential of what our young people are experiencing, and how do we draw alongside to help them, right?
Right. Yeah, and remember now, suicide is legal, right?
In Cayman, well, no. But anyway, it's a very, very challenging topic. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, and then on the last thing you said about if I can show you where it's kind of like almost illegal to talk bad about Cayman, but like a reference to the clip now is that it's called Tunnels to Nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was somebody made that, and then they tried to reprehend this man for saying Tunnels to Nowhere about the little bridges or whatever made across Westbury Road. You understand? So
yeah, man.
I ain't here to speak nothing besides the facts. If you think I here to spread propaganda or anything, I spread the facts. And the facts is that they're in collusion with whoever it is trying to take us out. The originals, and I call us really the originals. Ghost Caymanians and all, the originals, the ones that know how it is to live on the island, the ones that you better know how to swim on this island. And I speak enough with them. Anytime they ready to protest or get on and this change, make a real big change, let's go. I ready.
Yeah, man.
I bring all my smoke.
Yeah, man.
All right. Have a good day, Mr. Dwayne.
You
Take
too,
it
man.
easy.
All the best to you, man. All the best to you.
Yes, sir.
Take care. And 12:29, 45 seconds, Miss Susan at the helm. One final quick call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Sterling Green, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Call
sir.
you back, but I know you don't have much time. I understand what the last two callers are talking about as young Caymanians are a heck of a lot younger than I am. And I understand quite a bit of what they're trying to say and so forth, so on. We've got to remember two things. We compare ourselves to other countries. One glaring obstacle is we have no form of direct income tax, and every country I can think about has that. So it creates problems in every aspect of society. That tremendously high cost. That young man knew him very well who mentioned the $300 a month cost. That's astronomical in any country around us. To have to pay it, and it's mandated by government. It is must. So that is one of the main things that sticks in my craw. It wouldn't be there if we had direct income tax. We know that. That would not be there. We'd have a nationalized health insurance system. But the other thing is we have no unions, no labor unions here. And that's what other countries, particularly the country he mentioned, Jamaica, they have lots of labor unions. And that goes a long way to solve the problems of salaries and so forth, and what you gain and benefits you gain. Anyone who knows anything about unions knows that's what happens. So those are two basic glaring differences that happen. As far as the holiday thing with double pay, I do not know if it's a law. If you agree to go to work and you agree to work for a straight day's pay, I don't think the employer can be faulted if you want to come to work and work on a holiday. I do not know if it's a law that you're mandated to pay double pay. It might be for government, it might be certain restrictions, and we know that. Workers as a day in lieu, etc., etc. But with private sector, it's quite possible that people can work for the regular pay if they want to. They want to come to work.
But
I don't know about that.
Right. I'll query it again just to ensure, if you'll. But I gather two things. One, there was, prior to the introduction of what is now our labor legislation, as you know, that accepted practice that you work Saturdays, it was time and a half, and Sundays and public holidays were double time. But to your point, I believe the law is that if you were scheduled and you worked prior to the public holiday and the day after or thereabouts, it is a double time. But I'm pretty sure that's still the law, but I'll just query it just to make sure.
45 hours and over, you had to be paid time and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Or 4 was and over. Some companies had it that way. But I don't know if there's an agreement with an employee and an employer that, listen, I'm willing to come to work, I need money, especially the foreign employees, they might say, well, listen, I'm going to come to work, pay me if you will, but I need the money. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right.
You can check it out. I don't know if there's any law that specifies that the employer is bound to pay them, since they agreed to it, to work for it, if they have an agreement with them that I will work on a holiday. It's quite possible for that to happen. It's quite possible that I'm talking nonsense also.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do...
You can check that out.
Yeah, we'll send them and seek a response so that we can give it chapter and verse. But thank you for that. And you are right, we can sign away contractually to agree to certain things without being additionally compensated for it. Anything final, sir, as we close out?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's all about not having direct income tax. It creates major problems. There's nothing to hold you accountable.
Right.
And that's where we are unique. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
And you as well. And it's Thursday. We almost fast forward into Friday because excitedly tomorrow you can join me, store it, for the record. I mean, it's 5 days in a row every morning, right? He's done the buzz on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and now he picked us up on Monday, Wednesday, and then tomorrow. So join him again in his regular slot for the record. I always enjoy listening to him. And thank you all for allowing us to be a part of your day. We invite you to share with us and recognize that our democracy, the health, stability, safety, sanity, security, and civility of our society rests on each of us as individuals collectively doing what needs to be done to make it that place that is so special and spectacular. And unfortunately, many of us are abdicating our responsibility, being unwilling to accept, that we are to be accountable for our actions as well as our inactions. Well, tomorrow is another day. Let's plan and prepare for it and be purposeful. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976.